say that.
I don't know. That's just the first thing that came to my mind when he said Kraken.
Yeah,
The power of suggestion. Anyway, we'd like to welcome all of our millions and millions of our Crafting a Chat fans around the world to episode 5, our 5th episode of our nice little podcast.
There it is.
In the wonderful VR world of Minecraft.
Because COVID sucks.
If only if it was
other
actually
things.
VR. That'd be cool.
Well, yeah, that too. So yeah, let's just ease right into things, gentlemen. What have we been playing this past week?
You want to go first, Adam, or you want me to go first?
You can go first. I'll yield my time.
This week, Giuseppe, we've been... I actually... we didn't get to play too much Fall Guys. We haven't played a lot of that. I think Adam got burnt out a little bit from it. I played it, I think, yesterday. That was it. And then I just got Diablo 3, started that up with 2 of my other friends.
Cool.
We were playing that, liking that a bit.
Nice.
And then I kept, bouncing back between that and Ghost of Tsushima. Trying to beat that before Legends comes out.
Where are you in that now?
And I think I'm still in Act 2, but I'm getting farther in Act 2.
Did you get to that one part I said? Did you get to the Ghost of Yarikawa yet, that mission?
No, not yet. I'm about to go get the Dancer's Wrath move now, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not a story mission. Or that's not a main story mission, I don't think.
I see.
Cool.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing, yeah.
Excellent.
Did you get any wins in Fall Guys last night?
No other wins that I can report. No other wins. I got close a couple times, but no other wins, unfortunately. I'm not that great, so...
Shame.
Yeah, that's not true.
I mean, there's people who are at like 300 wins at this point.
Oh God,
I'm
there's people
sure.
who are like beyond level who hit the level cap for the season, and they just can't wait for next season. Which next season looks interesting.
I'm at the. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. I'm at level 34 in it, or 33 at this point. I am a little bit burnt out. I don't know. It's fun. It's just not as fun when, like, I don't know, not everyone's playing and, like, having a good time and stuff. And, like, we're not really all playing. Like,
I will admit that when I was by myself, or maybe with my youngest sibling, he and I were playing, and it was like, it wasn't as fun as if, like, all 4 of us went in there or something like that. Or, like, I don't know. That game is very odd when it comes to, like, either duos or singles, because single is just boring, I think, overall.
Yeah, but then when you get a group of 4 and then, like, 3 of them die in the first level, it's like, this is kind of boring. So, yeah, no, I'm okay at the game. I have 12 wins now. I don't know how many games I've played, but I'm at level 34, so that should tell you around.
It would be an interesting expansion for Fall Guys if they were to incorporate some kind of thing that really kind of like leans into the whole group matchmaking thing. Like, for instance, as opposed to just having all of the game shows be, individualized and everybody has to qualify, blah, 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 if they could make, like, an offshoot, kind of like a team competition thing, you know what I mean, where you get your group of 4 together and we're competing against other groups of 4, you know what I mean, in a team dynamic.
Yeah.
That would be a cool thing.
I would love it if they did, like, only team games, only single games, a mix of both. Like, there were 3 queues you can get into, and you could choose which queue you're getting into. Because I would love if us 3 go in, or we get a 4th or whatever, and we just go in and we crush it. Because, Giuseppe, you're really good at hitting the ball back at them in that fall ball.
Oh, like fall ball, right?
Yeah, you hit it great. I'm crushing it as goalie. Genesis, you're also really good at doing that too. Like you both, like, as a team coming in and knocking that ball, you get the headbutts in. Sometimes you miss miserably and it's hysterical, and I like that just as much. But with you guys hitting and me blocking, like, we'd be an unstoppable team, and that would be so much fun. And then, like, the team tail tag. Every time we play that, most of us have a tail at the end. Like, we're good.
That one. So that one in particular has been very interesting, especially with the single player mode, like where you have to have a tail by the end. Like there's only a few tails and one person only, goes at the end of it. I've gotten pretty good at that one now to keep the tail. At first I was like, I hate this game. I think the game I hate the most now is the tile one, because I keep getting pushed off every
Hexagon?
time somebody finds. No.
Oh,
when we're trying to find this. Yep, that one.
Okay.
I hate that one.
So when Giuseppe and I were playing a week ago at this point, we just kept getting that one right before the end. It literally just kept doing. Like we had 8 people and we're like, oh, we're probably going to Fall Mountain, and then we went into that and we're like, why? Why are we here?
I've seen patch notes of the game saying that they're going to increase the limit on Fall Mountain, where they've
already increased it to 15.
Oh, they already have.
Yeah,
because some of the patch notes still, I feel like they haven't gone through. Like one of the patch notes said that you'll be able to see your party members immediately.
Yeah, that was delayed.
Okay. Didn't know that.
That was supposed to be included in the, I think, 1.07 or 1.06, whichever one just released. That was supposed to be included in that, but they were like, hey, this feature we're going to have to delay, but we're not delaying the entire patch. We'll just put it in with the next one, which I think is a good idea. Like instead of delaying everything. But yeah, the Fall Mountain one they patched in like 3 weeks ago at this point. So that one was a while ago.
Wait, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Did you add that PC sign up there?
I did, yeah.
Yes, you did.
Interesting.
Huh.
All right.
I just noticed that. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm supposed to be holding an apple. But yeah, no, Fall Guys, like, I with the Season 2 stuff that I'm sure we'll talk about later, I'm sure we'll play more of it, but just right now I'm like, there's not a costume I really want. I really just like my black outfit with the, whatever the heck it's called, with the volcano stars that I have. And I think I started wearing like a hat. I forget what it was, because I haven't played it in a week, and my brain sucks. But I forgot other things I'm playing. We did the Forest last Thursday.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that one.
And that's always a good time. That's always a good time in a group.
That's a lot of fun.
I would recommend Forest in a group setting.
I would recommend Forest in a group setting if you guys don't care about trophies, because the platinum sucks, and if you're okay with a technical mess, and you're okay with a bitted jank.
Right.
Somebody's got to know what they're doing. Honestly, if you all play it consistently for like a week, you'll figure out what you're doing. It's actually pretty easy to understand. You could Google like 90% of the things, because I know what I'm doing, but like you guys have adapted to that really quickly. Like it's not a hard game to understand.
No, but like that initial the gateway to actually learning what to do like right off the bat, it's very like they could have done a little better of a job there to.
I think that's supposed to be part of it.
Tools. Yeah, well,
but
I don't know.
You also get to you have to read, like when you're hovering over stuff, and then that whole gear system. I don't know. It's a weird way to do everything, but it's fun. We had a lot of technical issues with the boat and our house that we no longer have.
Fortunately, that boat. Oh god,
the boathouse.
Yeah. The house.
Boy, that turned into a glitchy mess.
Yeah, it did. And then it finally worked, and then PlayStation Network went down, and we thought Genesis was stealing games, but it was just a PlayStation Network issue where you had to renew your licenses. Remember Casey said, we're using his real name, I don't care. Casey said, what are you, stealing your games? You hacking? Got that Game Shark or whatever? I don't remember. So we played that.
Game Shark.
I did more of the Forest by my single player because I'm trying to get 100 days. I think I'm at 50 now. I might be at 48, and I'll be sad. I feel like I've been at 48 for years, but I actually wasn't at 48 for the longest time. I thought I was. I was at 46, and to go 2 days is like an hour. So it's a challenge currently. And then I actually jumped back into Assassin's Creed Odyssey because I wanted to get the DLC trophies.
There you go.
Having some fun with that. You know, getting those. I just finished the first Assassin's, or the first Blade. DLC pack. I got to do Atlantis next, and then I got like 6 more trophies and additional feats. But
There
I'm
you
getting
go.
that done, and then I'm supposed to be setting up my VR, but I ordered bins for my clothes. I explained all of this to Giuseppe yesterday, but the bins were supposed to be delivered today. They've been delayed till Thursday, so
Oh.
shipping in this world is challenging. But yeah, that's what I've been
Along with
playing.
everything else.
And yeah, that's about it. Giuseppe, what have you been hitting the buttons for?
And me, I've been hitting the buttons for some odd reason. Well, not just for some odd reason. I too, with the both of you, little tuckered out on Fall Guys. Still enjoy it. Still, it's still a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also still a little repetitive. And it's fine. I'm sure season 2 when it rolls out, I'll be just as eager to jump into some new games, some new formats, hopefully, and yeah, I'll enjoy it when it comes. But yeah, for some odd reason, I cracked open the. It's not even. It doesn't qualify as a backlog because I already got the platinum for it. But I spontaneously had the inspiration to start playing Metal Gear Solid 5 again, because I just really enjoy the open world format of that, and I honestly love just like running around, messing with enemy soldiers, and then just Fulton ballooning them up into the air, and it's I still find it very amusing, and ridiculous because obviously it's meant to be taking place in these war zones in Afghanistan, and yet you have the Kojima ridiculousness to it all. But I don't know. I just enjoy running around and stealing enemy tanks and supplies and soldiers, and yeah, I just enjoy that gameplay, and I just felt inspired to jump back into it again. I don't know if I would ever like restart that game, like do a hard restart and then just do everything from the beginning again, because it can be kind of like a slog, especially when you're trying to build your mother base and the forward operating bases so that you gain enough R&D to start developing the really useful weapons and tools that you can really exploit in the game missions. But I don't know. It was kind of like a random thing. I enjoyed the gameplay of Metal Gear Solid 5. Didn't enjoy the story at all. That's I've said it before, maybe not in the podcast, but obviously to both of you. But Metal Gear Solid 5 was one of my disappointing type games, certainly of last generation, because the story was just so lackluster in comparison to previous Metal Gear games, where story was a much more prominent thing, because you always had larger than life characters doing crazy over the top things, and you had these thematic social commentary themes from Kojima in the midst of war. And Metal Gear Solid 5 didn't really have any of that. The story was just a whole bunch of nothing. And the mission layout was just a whole bunch of linear blech. So I was let down by it. But I really enjoyed the gameplay, and I enjoy popping back in every now and then to just just play around, forget the story. And so yeah, that's what I've been playing.
I still find it weird that you started that up, and like I said before we started this podcast today, that today's the 5-year anniversary of MGS5. So
Yeah,
good,
that was
good timing
totally
on your
not
part.
planned. Yeah, that's all coincidence, not a part of my master plan. But yeah, funny how that worked out like that.
Yeah.
Perhaps my interest in Metal Gear is just working on a internal clock of like a 5-year rotation, and I just don't know it.
Hey, it's certainly
For that Metal
you're
Gear
like
Solid, the next Metal Gear to come out.
you're like an Oliver Queen of like he was on the island for 5 years.
There you go.
You just live for 5 years and then you start over.
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it.
Hits the reset button every 5 years.
All right, gentlemen. So let's go ahead and launch into our first topic. I'm going to go ahead and volunteer this first topic because I had mentioned it just prior to broadcasting, and we heard about it a little while ago. and we may or may not have briefly mentioned it in the previous week's podcast. But I really want to get into it now because more people on YouTube are definitely putting videos on it, kind of like talking about it, just bringing attention to it. The PlayStation 5 pre-order lottery. It's an interesting program that they're trying to do there, and I definitely want to open the discussion up to you guys. There are lots of articles trying to, talking about it, so you can find information on it. The general idea is that PlayStation is, well, we can discuss why they're doing this. I still don't understand why they're doing this. But the idea is that PlayStation had previously reported that that they weren't going to have any issues regarding the manufacturing of units for this holiday, whenever ultimately the reports of any kind of increased production. He warned of, quote, limited, and the increased production that they were speaking of essentially had doubled requests originally had slated, which was shaping up to be about 10 million units available by March 2021. It's an awful lot of units, and obviously that's going to be slightly past PlayStation 5 is going to be. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't seem as though the availability of units, if people are interested to buy, it seems like it would be a situation that people would have to start waiting in lines and being subject to price gouging on Amazon, eBay, what have you, from other people that have kind of like, scrounged up the last of the pre-orders from whatever retailer has them available. And I just found this, and this is a program strictly through PlayStation. So in order to do it, you go to the website and you register with your PSN ID, and then that puts you into some form of a pool for a lottery draw. And they also added on an interesting stipulation about it, talking about, based on the PlayStation user, their previous interests, quote, their previous interests and PlayStation activities. So does that mean that if so-and-so has a certain amount of trophy counts, or are they downloading a lot of games from the PSN store? Like, are those things going to somehow artificially boost your chances at being selected to be one of the first people to buy a PlayStation 5? I don't exactly know what they mean by that. It seems kind of ridiculous to me, because that shouldn't be held against anyone. Like, if they're not, quote-unquote, active on PSN now, and let's say they just really want a PS5, should that somehow be held against them if they have, hey, their money is as green as the next person, Seems kind of odd. But yeah, my question to the panel here is, what kind of marketing or publicity stunt is this? Because it seems odd. It seems odd for a couple of reasons. Number one, it seems like another way to kind of like repackage the classic restrained supply to boost hype for a new product launch. We've seen it before, and we'll probably see it again whenever there's a new console that's launching. There's always that initial rush that may or may not be in line with the actual supply that's available, and so the hype builds because not everybody can get that new thing when it launches, and then you have a situation like with the Wii. My goodness, that was that was ridiculous. But it was just as ridiculous with PS3s, PS4s, Xboxes, Xbox 360s, Xbox. Not so much with Xbox Ones. Were they? I don't remember that being like such a huge thing for Xbox Ones.
Yeah, you could walk into I think any retailer and find an Xbox One sitting there. You walk into a retailer and ask about a PS4, they're like, nope, don't have any.
But we've definitely seen like that kind of like, oh my gosh, oh they ran out so quickly, they sold out everything. Well, did they really, or were they just really waiting on pallets of units stuck in warehouses in order to increase the hype train, like just to puff that up even
Yeah,
more, just to draw demand?
I know Nintendo does that a lot, and I know PlayStation has admitted to doing that, but there are points where they literally just run out of stuff. But yeah, that
That's
is a
true.
thing that they do. I think there was an issue where was it originally with the Switch when it launched that they ran out of them after like a few months because they were having issues like getting a certain part that's also used in phones or something, and people were like,
Wasn't
Probably,
it? Yeah, wasn't
probably
it a
to do with something with the
component?
chipset. Yeah,
yeah, it was
Was it a chip? I thought
it
it was
was a
some kind
chip.
of issue with the LED screen.
could also
Or
have been
no,
the
was
LED
that
screen
another
because I
thing?
think they
I'm
borrow
pretty
screens
sure.
from like Panasonic or
Yeah, and I think it was
LG
a
or one of the
chip
other.
because it's a chip that's also used in iPhones,
Okay.
and that's why it's like one of the only chips in an iPhone that's not Apple. It's
Okay.
for whatever it is. It's like a piece. I'm not quite sure. If
You know what?
anybody's
To be
in
honest
the
with you, it's
chat,
probably the
correct.
screen because it's Samsung screen that they use or LG screen now.
Oh, sure, could be that. Yeah, whatever it is. I
Yeah.
remember that happening, and people were saying like, "Oh, they're just holding back supply," and they're like, "Yeah, normally we would do this, but also we're out. Sorry, we're having some issues." So it could
So
certainly be part of it for this.
it could be. And then I also feel like it's kind of like an odd marketing publicity stunt because, like, I don't understand why they feel they need to do something like this because maybe it's some kind of desperate attempt on Sony's part to boost even more interest, or rather to boost the interest back to what they would consider the normal level of excitement for a new console launch in a year that isn't 2020 and defined by COVID and all the misery that it has, laid forth to everyone. I feel like this is just another thing that they pull out of their bag of tricks to try to like again artificially boost interest despite COVID, despite the very real situation millions of Americans are facing, out of jobs, out of work, out of cash, and Sony's never really had to face or quite frankly, nobody has really had to face uh, a new product launch, regardless of what the product is, in this kind of economic setting, where you have a very significant portion of the global population significantly out of disposable income. The kind of disposable income that a new product launch, like a new console, would have a lot of reservations for. A lot of people would be earmarking stacks of cash in that direction in anticipation of that new product. And I just wonder how effective this kind of a trick is. Personally, when I heard about it, it sounded kind of I didn't like it. It sounded weird. It sounded a little elitist, especially that the whole based on previous interest in PlayStation activities. Like, what exactly does that mean? Does that mean that if Adam, who has how many platinums do you have, Adam, right now?
68,
All
67,
right. So
69? I don't remember.
I think I have sub 50 or around 50. So you have a far more platinums than I. If you and I were both to go in and try to get in on this PS5 pre-order lottery, does that just mean that you're just simply more valuable to PlayStation's brand
Good.
because you have more platinums? It could very well be, but is that fair? And doesn't
Yeah.
it may not be fair, and it may not be very pro-consumer. So why do it at all? Seems kind of silly. Thoughts? What do you guys think?
I'll go first if Genesis doesn't mind.
No, not at all. You go
You
ahead.
better not. I'm going either way.
All
Okay.
right, he's going. What do you got?
I entered the lottery. I think Genesis, you did as well.
I did.
Yeah, so I entered the lottery. Genesis and I have been saying we wanted the console. So there's no doubt in our minds we're going to enter the lottery. I prefer to buy it through Amazon, but if this is the only way, then cool. In
Same.
regards to like showing interest in PlayStation events, I think you just have to interact with them through the email and stuff. Like, I don't think it's going to penalize people for trophies. I don't think trophies will count. I think it's like if you're buying a lot of games, if you're online, if you did the like you looked at your stats at the end of the year, if you just participate in Sony stuff that they send, then you qualify. And I think that's okay in general, because if you do not participate in Sony stuff and you still want a console, you can probably still get a console somewhere else. If not, then you probably don't know about this lottery. The only reason you know about this lottery is because some YouTubers are talking about it. That's the only reason. Like, if...
It's definitely not been a thing that they put out, like, proactively.
Yeah,
like an advertisement.
It's for the hardcore of the hardcore. Like, if you're a Sony, if you're a passionate Sony fan, and that's what you want, enter into it. I hope I get called for it, and I get to pre-order. I'd be excited. I want a headset, and I might get a camera. I'm not sure. Like, I'm already sold on it. And a lottery is, I think, fair, because Thanos would approve, I would think.
Thanos would definitely approve.
He would definitely approve, because it's at like, even though the thing is, he might not like it because it's going by PlayStation, like your interactivity. But I don't know if Thanos can read from his planet. Nobody knows.
He spoke English, so I would assume that either it's a translated English or he.
Why does everyone speak
something.
English in the Marvel universe? That's a topic for the next podcast. Tune in next week. But no, I think this is fine. If this happens and I'm not invited, I'll be upset. I want to get that across. I want that to come across, that I will be upset. Mm-hmm. But that will pass probably almost immediately, unless I can't pre-order it anywhere else. And now when it comes to like... I highly doubt too. But if this is the only way, a positive I can think is scalpers. Like, you're not going to have anybody scalping consoles, because it limits one console per person. Like, per PSN ID.
But that's just through this one thing.
Yeah, and that's what I just said, that if they only do pre-orders through this way, then it's only one...
But they did say that pre-orders will be available through GameStop.
Well, no, God, I don't want to buy anything else through GameStop.
Well, I agree too. That is the one other retailer.
They said that they're going to be available through Best Buy, Amazon, GameStop. They didn't... I don't remember if they mentioned Walmart and Target, but I'm sure it's going to be through there as well. Although
they'll get some products.
Walmart, they've been shrinking their gaming aisle in general. So
where?
In Walmarts and Targets, for whatever reason, their Sony aisles, their PlayStation aisles, have been shrinking, and I don't know why.
Xbox, it's better now.
Well,
sorry.
Well, I think honestly, when it comes to big box retailers carrying home video gaming hardware and software, those products, if anybody out there knows a thing or two about retail, but one thing to know is that software and hardware sales, they don't offer a very high profit percentage for the retailer. Those products are carried by the big box in order to hook, line, and sinker a wider net of customers to come into the store for whatever reason, with the hopes that they also purchase some higher profit percentage items, like food, clothes is a big one, maybe some home decor stuff, but things of that nature. And if you don't have electronics at your big box retailer, you automatically cut out a huge chunk of potential customers that would even give your store the time of day to go ahead and do kind of like your one-stop shopping and say, hey, I gotta do a little bit of groceries, but I gotta pick up some clothes for the kids, or maybe some a new vase for my living room. That's what those big box. Baby formula, sure.
If you're going to Walmart, it's vase. If you're going to Target, though, it's vase. Let's just clear that up right now.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Let's clear that up.
That's a good point.
Let's also clear it up. Big box retailers are dead. Don't go anywhere. Stay inside forever.
They're not
they're
dead.
No, they're dead. Now, if you go in, there's just Mr. Walmart's on the ground dead, and a door greeter's kicking them, and they're like, give me $15. and then there's some kid running around screaming and crying because they want candy, and their mom's like, I don't care. It's stores. You don't have to go to stores anymore. They don't
Right.
they don't exist. They don't exist.
All right. Okay.
Getting back to the topic at hand.
The actual lottery. Yeah.
Yeah, the actual lottery. It's not, it's I don't mind it. I really don't. And then going to your point of what like it's releasing now, and you've talked about it a few times where people are out of the job, they can't afford a console. Like, okay, then they're probably not going to enter this lottery either. So they probably don't care, or they're if they've made up their mind about getting a console at the end of the year or not already.
Right.
If you can afford it, you can afford it. If you don't think there's enough games, you've already made up your mind at this point. I don't think there's anything going forward that will start to convince people like, I need to get these now. If you've already decided, I think you're done. Like, if you've already said yes to yourself or no, then there's not going to be any information that comes out unless the prices are ridiculous. But going by the GTX event that happened with the 3080s and all the graphics card prices, those were cheap as heck. It could be a good sign. We shall see. For the consoles, hopefully they're again $499 is my limit. I will probably, but I really hope it's $499. But yeah, I think the lottery's fine. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Maybe you'll get something special with it. They didn't say that, but you never know. So we'll see.
That'd be cool. We get like a message from Sony or something like that, like something a little personable. That's nice.
Yeah, you're a founder. Yeah. You get this. You get a founder. You get. Yeah. The reason it's fine for you to say because you didn't enter into it and you don't plan on getting a console. This is rewarding for Genesis and I, because
this is the thing.
If they do something like that,
I definitely want one. But there are two main reasons why I have no interest in entering this lottery. Number one, I don't have money set aside, and I don't foresee myself having money to set aside to buy one, even if I were to be selected.
Credit cards.
No, I don't have no credit cards. Or at least I don't have credit on my credit cards available to even make that stretch.
Open another one.
And then number two, I just don't. And then number two, I don't have an immediate need for it. Like I still don't have that killer.
You've made that point across to us before.
You've made that very clear that you don't have a need, and that's why this lottery story was not for you.
Right. But this is the thing. What I really don't understand is why make it a lottery for pre-orders. I mean,
I have an interesting theory on that.
Please, go ahead.
So I've done a little bit of digging on the lottery itself and comments that people have been writing, reading a little bit of the fine print. So I want to take one of the things you mentioned before about the global state versus what people are willing to spend on a console.
Right.
The rest of the world seems to be, with maybe the exception of a very few select countries, including ours, seems to be slowly recovering from this pandemic that's going on. They are in a much better state than we are because the U.S. just doesn't seem to want to understand how to combat something like this.
We're in Canada, eh? What are you talking about?
Canada seems... Canada. The rest of the world, and there's a reason why I'm mentioning this. The rest of the world seems to be in a much better state of let's try and get back to some sort of normal than the U.S. is. We're not going to see normal until I don't know, maybe
never again,
2022, probably. When it comes to the rest of the world, I really think Sony is not really worried about the rest of the world. But there's an interesting tidbit that I looked on. So Call of Duty has showcased its new game, and in one of the fine print, or I don't know if you say fine print, but just one of the text on their website, they specifically mentioned that this game for PlayStation 5 specifically is going to be available this holiday or the November date that they gave of 2020. The rest of the world will come later, 2020. So Call of Duty is only releasing in the U.S. on November, which is supposedly when these consoles are supposed to come out, obviously, because everything is still speculation. We have no idea. But for the rest of the world, it's coming. It is coming later. A couple of opinions I've read is it's weird and odd that they mention that where the way that they say that, where it's coming to the U.S. Like November, and then the rest of the world is getting it late 2020. And it's also odd they connect it to the lottery program only being available for U.S. This is not available to the rest of the world. So you will only get the lottery email if you live in the U.S., have a U.S. address, and you are in a U.S. You have a U.S. PSN ID. Some of the Canadians have gotten it, but as soon as they put a Canadian address, it kicks them out and it says that they can't do this. There's been no specific terminology from Sony that they're releasing this console globally. They say holiday 2020, okay, and most of us think, okay, it'll probably be like November, which is usually when the consoles come out. If you look back at the PS4,
13th
PS3,
or 20th is my guess.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Right. They don't specifically mention that it's going to be globally at this date. A lot of people are assuming, or opinions that I've read online are assuming that the rest of the world is going to see the PlayStation 5 in December, and we're going to see the PS5 in November. And the only reason why there's a lottery, and again, this is just opinions floating around the internet, the lottery is there to create, like Lauren said, that extra hype on top of the current state of the U.S., the way we are. Yes, a lot of people do not have the expendable income to have it. But you notice that companies like Samsung and Apple and these higher-ups, like the higher companies, are still releasing like $1,300, $2,000 smartphones. Apple's still going to release a Pro Max and stuff like that. They're still expecting 75 million phones to be sold this year, regardless of the global pandemic that's going on. They still expect that.
Those numbers are not going to be met.
Of course not.
So whatever they think.
Whatever they think, it's Apple. But regardless, Samsung is not any less. They still are going to sell a $2,000 phone and expect people to buy it. So there's money that these companies still expect to make, and I think Sony is going to go into the direction of saying, okay, we got to make this extra hype to get these people riled up to want to buy a PS5, especially in the U.S. I don't think they're really worried about the rest of the global economy, because they're like, we'll get them. It doesn't matter. I think we'll get that regardless. We have a good, and I'm sure they know their launch lineup. None of us know, but they might have a good lineup for whatever is going to be coming out with this console. And especially if we are the first market, which generally we are, I think one of the biggest markets, if I'm not wrong. If correct me if I'm wrong. We are generally one of those biggest markets that they need to make sure that they're saturated in when it comes to sales. So making a lottery is not far-fetched out of the idea. Scalping, definitely, like Adam mentioned before.
It'll still exist, though. It'll
exist, but a lot, especially if the first come, first serve, like let's say we get first crack at it, and there's these limited editions that go out, not specific like there's something different on the console, but they're limited first edition consoles. Then the rest of everybody else can go to a Best Buy, can go to Amazon.
But this is the thing. So if making a little game of it through this lottery system is really intended to do a little bit of cutting down on the scalping and do a little bit of the rewarding on the PlayStation faithful, why not have that kind of information be available? Like, why not lead with that and say, hey, not only do you get a chance to pre-order a PS5, but you can get one of these, like you guys were mentioning, the Founder Edition, a nice little carrot, which has no. But why? What's the point?
They want to announce it with the pre-order itself,
But that's a whole bunch of silliness, though. Why hold back on that kind of information? I think that, first of all, I don't think that's true. I think that's a whole lot of wishful thinking on your guys' part. I don't think that that's a thing, like in any regard. And if it is, that's a whole bunch of nonsense that they wouldn't have that information be out there.
It'd be nice if they're like, hey, you put your PSN ID in here, by the way, your console's coming to you already, and it's got your your PSN ID etched into it. Like,
I was about to say that.
I know. I was thinking about that.
That would have been
That would be cool as hell.
crazy.
But also, we didn't put money down, so that they wouldn't do that. But now I get what you're saying, Giuseppe, and I completely understand. But I wouldn't be shocked if we put our information into this, and then when the pre-orders go live, they tell us 2 hours before the other pre-orders go live.
That would be also a
or they tell us like, hey, you can pre-order it now, and everywhere else it'll be ready in like a week. That would be enough for me to be like, okay, I'm going to pre-order it here. For right when Amazon opens, I'm going to try to pre-order it there, and then cancel that one. I prefer Amazon. I'm sorry, PlayStation.
Oh yeah, same
I don't know
thing.
how long
I
it's
have
going to
Amazon
take.
gift cards I already have set aside for this thing that I want to use.
I don't know how long it's going to take to deliver from Sony. Also, I don't know how long it's going to take to deliver from Amazon. That's another issue that I think that's kind of being overlooked at this point, but we shall see.
What did you guys think of my of the things that I've dug up with the global launch and stuff like that? I'm curious to know your opinion on that part.
I would kind of agree.
Yeah, global launch. I mean, I know the United States is in like a completely different place than everywhere else. But as much as I agree with what you said, like I don't think this is to get like I don't think this is meant for the masses. I think this is something that was meant for the PlayStation fans that people saw, like, why the hell are they doing a lottery? And then it turned into like a YouTube talking point.
The only problem is they're not opening up the lottery to the rest of the world. It's literally just the U.S.
That's fine. They always do U.S. competitions and stuff. It always happens.
But it's not a competition, though. I mean, and this is the thing. Getting back to what I originally didn't like about it, the reason it kind of like left a sour taste in my mouth is that they've just gamified the pre-order system.
That's cool.
But the problem I have with it is that we don't really know the rules to this game. They just put out
I'm sure we're gonna know the rules. But with the way that they've been doing this whole like slow Ivy League of just news, it's gonna be we're gonna know the rules eventually. Yes, currently we don't know, but
why are they still making them up as they go? I mean, I don't understand. They obviously put more than enough thought.
Just to build hype.
But still, though, we're talking about pre-hyping the pre-hype. What is that?
And again, I'm going to bring it back to the point of specifically being the U.S. If you need to convince the masses of the U.S., of whoever's interested in video games, that you need to shell out your $500 to us or $450 to us,
presuming that it's 5, right? Yeah.
Sure,
you're 1 to 1,000. Let's just say.
Sure, 1 to 1,000.
It will be less than $1,000. It will be less than 1,000.
1 to 999.
This Samsung flip phone that came out is $2,000. So,
not the same.
No, I know. I'm just making a dumb joke. But the thing is this: if you need to convince the masses to say, hey, you need to shell out your X amount of dollars and give them to us, the best way to do it is to hype up the hell out of it. Like, I mean, Xbox at this point lost a lot of their biggest hype tool, which is Halo, not coming out this year. They need to find a different reason to hype people up to buy that Series X.
Game Pass.
I mean, granted, besides Game Pass, because Game Pass can be used on PC and anything else, that's technically not a selling tool for the Series X.
Also, can be used on that Samsung Flip.
So right there, but you're comparing right there actual valuable things in terms of the loss of a critical app in the Halo game, plus also the Game Pass, a critical function and reason for owning the Xbox. Like that's a huge, strong selling point for, that you want to bundle in with a new console. You can't compare those things to, like, honestly, a cheap marketing trick, essentially, with this lottery nonsense.
You would think so. You would think so. But like things like this work. Things like this end up working.
I absolutely agree with you. They wouldn't do it otherwise. I just think it's just a whole bunch of silliness because number one, we don't know the rules, and you say that we'll know the rules eventually. I don't believe that's going to be a thing because again, they describe it in terms of in terms of generalities. It's just, oh, well, your previous interests and PlayStation activities. That could be anything, and that could also, at the very same time, mean very specific things.
Yeah, could be.
Honestly, I don't see that being any different at all from just a regular pre-order system, first come, first serve. I don't see how this serves anything in a better way or than that. Because, people who want to buy it, regardless of their interests in PlayStation activities, they're gonna want to lay money down for pre-orders, whether
Which
it's for themselves
they can
or
at the other
for
retailers,
price
which they've
gouging.
already said they're gonna
And
be able to buy it at other retailers, no problem, no lottery system needed there.
and the whole aspect of them trying to like cut down on a little bit. I don't even know how much. Did they mention any kind of like range of units that would be even in the running for this kind of pre-order
I
lottery?
think the verbiage, and Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, the verbiage was that the reason why certain people got this email, which did everybody get it, or is it selected people?
Well, I didn't receive an email specifically from Sony about it. I just found out about it through online.
So,
You
so
guys
there
got
is
actual
specific.
emails?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I did not get an email from them.
I didn't get an email.
Oh, you didn't get an email?
No, well,
Are you sure you didn't get one?
All my PlayStation emails are in my trash folder.
Okay.
I still got to figure out how to organize all that stuff. One day I will.
Then I don't know if you did or not, because I specifically got one asking to do the lottery.
Yeah, I might have, but when I went onto the site, I put everything in, and then I got an email saying hey, thanks for entering. Thanks for being a PlayStation fan or whatever the hell it said.
But you don't need an email. You can just go to the site and just...
Yeah,
anybody can send you the link.
Yeah, any single person. Correct. Yeah, it's for everybody. It's a lottery for everybody. And does it mean anything? Maybe. Does it mean nothing? Probably.
So this is the thing. Now let's getting back to the whole marketing and publicity aspect to this lottery. Why not generate a little bit more goodwill with this kind of a thing instead of just making the larger sum for pre-orders? Why not also have a portion of those who enter to register for pre-order? They also perhaps qualify for a chance at getting one for free. Why not do something like that?
They might.
Yeah, they might eventually.
Yeah, but they have not. But they have. Yeah, but why?
Yeah, they have not.
Might, why not? Why not say that now? That would generate more interest.
Because I disagree with that. This was like a marketing stunt for everybody.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying. I'm not saying for everybody in terms of like everybody. But I'm talking about everybody that's interested in buying this console, which also does not.
It's not for that. This is not for them. This is not for everybody interested in buying the console.
And I understand that. You've said it time and time again. I understand that. But what I'm saying is that if you're doing it at all to generate any level of added intrigue to the quote-unquote hardest of the hardcore, why not also throw in that additional carrot? Like, nobody's really gaining anything extra by participating in this. You're getting a somewhat minuscule chance at pre-ordering. I think if it were also tied in with the possibility of getting a PS5 for free, that would be a legitimate incentive to kind of like throw your hand in there, because you're probably not going to win a free PS5, but at the end of the day, you might have a better chance at actually throwing your money down on something that you can guarantee that you'll get on launch day, which is obviously not a terrible consolation prize.
It would be weird.
Rereading the page, it just says that register for an opportunity to be one of the first to pre-order your PS5. I think it's more along the lines of being, it's going to be more along the lines of the people who get registered through and selected through this. You will have a timed window or like an extra day that will be able to directly order with a link through that PlayStation website, and then everybody else gets it a day later. I think that's the verbiage, the meaning of that verbiage.
Also, it would be kind of messed up if it was a lottery that you might be able to pre-order it. Also, you might win a PS5, but also you might just get absolutely nothing. That would be
Yeah.
that would be upsetting to me. That, oh, I didn't get the free PS5, also I can't buy it for this. Like, why did I sign up for this?
That's exactly my point too.
No, that's
It
losing
kind of
twice.
defeats itself.
That's
Yeah, I
losing
agree.
twice. So
Yeah,
there's
I
no
agree.
reason to put in like like win a free PS5. This is for people
Well,
already getting it, and like I've said, and you said I've said, it's not for you. So I don't understand how you could have a sour taste over something that you weren't interested in getting in the first place.
I'm just thinking about it in terms of generalities because I don't like how it kind of caters to that specialized crowd because people who may not be as hardest of the hardcore could still have an interest level in this product that's equivalent, if not greater than, the quote unquote hardest of the hardcore. That's a completely subjective thing. People have the money and they want to spend it. Their desire to spend it for that product is not somehow objectively greater or less than those who are quote unquote uh, have the previous interests and PlayStation activities that they're looking for in order to get yourself a better chance at winning this lottery.
Do you do the
You just
Sony
saw you
reward
and
site,
you.
by the way?
What's
Huh?
that?
Do you do the Sony
I
reward site
I
with the
used
reward
to, but
points?
I never got anything from them, and they stopped counting like platinum trophy achievements like
You
a
had to
while
do like
ago.
25 of them to get, or 10 platinums, and
I still have a good amount of
Yeah,
points from them because
yeah,
I
I
use
still have
that
like
PlayStation
3,000
card to
points.
buy anything on the store. It gets you so many points real
Yeah.
quick.
yeah. But either way, though, but getting back to what you had said previously, you too, like you get into this lottery, and you could still come away with nothing.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
So
So let me
yeah,
let
but
me
I
ask you a quick
mean,
question.
I don't I don't see the difference between losing one thing and I
Losing
the
two
the
things?
yeah, but it's the possibility of getting it for free. That's an extra added bonus on top of it. You're not really
They'd have to
losing out on that.
guarantee that you can then pre-order it if you don't get it for free.
Yeah, I
If they
And
would.
now
guarantee
That would
that,
be
and
upsetting.
and that brings me back to the whole. Well, let's know the rules of this game of this gamification.
like I said,
All of your
I think
points.
we're gonna learn it. It's just they're taking quite a while to be able to tell us, and I do see people are getting up very impatient, very upset about the fact that both of these companies, not just Sony but Microsoft as well, is just they just don't want to release
Well,
something or a
that's
date or a
and that's
price.
stupid. Why put out a thing that obviously is going to get a lot of people's attention? Because again, people are aware of these new consoles that are coming.
Hmm.
We have no idea about pricing. We have no idea about dates, but there is interest, and it's an core gamers.
Yeah.
So
People are interested in it. But
let me
why
ask you
throw
something real
these
quick,
things
Joe.
out there without any kind of like details and like and not only no details, but hey, maybe perhaps a time frame. Hey, check back in with us September 20th. We'll have all the rules laid out, details as they develop, and that's when we'll officially open it up or whatnot. Give us a time frame.
Holiday.
Certainly
Now on
they've
holiday.
Yeah, that's nonsense. And again, it's
In
further
which
evidence
is
of the complete lack of transparency from the video game industry, which again is inherently anti-consumer.
Okay,
It's
so you're
I
just
like
saying
it's
this.
just
okay. So
inherently is.
let me bring this up real quick. So does this act? And since we mentioned anti-consumer, because this is something that's been the debate that's going across the internet as well, is does this stunt that they just pulled, Sony talking about, does this make them more anti-consumer versus Microsoft at this point because they
No.
have not done
Or
something
what?
like this?
But what it? Well, like in relation, like what did Microsoft do to be anti-consumer? To kind of
Yeah.
like
No.
What about if just in general does this make them more anti-consumer?
Yeah, because they're doing a lottery
Because I
versus
don't think we have
Microsoft
to
not
compare
doing
them to
anything at all.
Microsoft for this.
Um, I feel that it is. I don't understand how this is a benefit to the market. I don't honestly see how this is a benefit to anyone other than Sony itself for the Hyperwagon. That's the only people that are really going to be benefiting from this. And any of the debate, like for instance, the debate we're having now, and any kind of debate that goes on with YouTube, social media. Everyone's going to be discussing it, and that's all building the hype train for them. So
I will give a different opinion of I don't really think it makes them more anti-consumer if I'm looking at it from a general point of view, because they did say it's going to be available through other retailers. They did say,
and we don't know the numbers.
They did say that we're not going to have we're still on track for getting the PlayStation 5s out that we want. And
they said both things though. They said both. They said that they will have units to meet the demand, and that limited quantities will also be a thing. They've said both things, so that is also purposely deceptive.
Here's the thing, though. Again, the limited is only mentioned in an email to the U.S. That's it. They for a global point of view, they've said we're going to have enough. We're on track. We're good to go. It's not going to be delayed. We're all set. But in that particular email, that's where that word limited quantities comes in, and that link, which I think it's just to literally just build some anti-consumer, though, because they're not. So they're giving selected people a chance early to get a console versus everybody else can go and get it who doesn't want to sign up for this email, who don't care, to get it from Amazon, Best Buy, wherever they decide to go get it from, or the PlayStation Store itself. Just this particular lottery is giving those special selected people a chance to, based on whatever criteria they choose, to say, here's your chance to get it before anybody else.
But that's the thing. That's the thing that basically wraps it up. And when I say anti-consumer, I'm not like dropping the hammer on Sony, like being like, one of the world's worst companies.
No, I'm just giving a different opinion. That's all. No.
And I understand that. But you said it yourself. Once you start being selective with your market, that's an inherent and innate anti-consumer policy, because it isn't treating the entire market as the same, as being objectively fair. There's the moment that you start being selective with your market, you open the door to that. For whatever the reason, whatever your justification, I'm just saying, like, that's just by definition, that's what it is.
So
we can discuss the nuances of what that is, like in terms of like the practicality of it. It's like, oh yeah, the reality is Sony's not doing this kind of thing to paint themselves in a bad light. But the argument can and has been made that, yeah, this is maybe not the best idea in their bag of tricks for that reason that I just stated.
So are loyalty programs anti-consumer?
Well, what would you define as a loyalty program?
Any loyalty program, like win points by signing up for a specific card, for like an
free.
Amazon.
It's free.
So is signing up for this?
It's signing up for it is free, but it's a free chance to spend your money for a select few based on a criteria
it's a credit card.
We don't
it's
know.
A free chance, so you can spend your money to get points to build by spending your money. I don't understand why this is anti-consumer to you.
Because I just told you, when you are selective with your markets, by definition, you're placing the importance of some select consumers over others.
So loyalty programs are anti-consumer then, by all of them.
Well, for those that somehow those markets are in one way or the other somehow kept out of it for either a lack of information, lack of knowledge of those kind of programs. Heck, I mean, there's so many kinds of loyalty programs that exist out there. I remember back when I was still employed at the Big Red Machine, there were a lot of different kind of loyalty products and services that you could get massive discounts by virtue of being employed by the Big Red Machine that I didn't know about. But yet those things exist, and perhaps if I knew about them, I would have been, intrigued to participate. But that information was not readily available, and you'd have to know about them in order to search for them, in order to take advantage of them. That seems
Our
like a whole bunch of
chat.
There's
hoops to go through.
there's a list of them in like one of the things on the website that we had to log into to change stuff.
Yeah,
When I was also employed at the Big Red Machine, if you will.
yeah, but
Yeah,
again, like you'd have to know about it
I was
to get
employed
there.
with a big black machine.
yeah, but
Either
you
way,
also
I'm just
worked in the
saying.
Big Red Machine inside.
I did.
So.
I was one of the sweatshop workers in there. By the
Well-
way, our chat's a little bit active. Let me just go through this real quick. So
Okay.
Desinoto in our chat is adding to the conversation. He quotes, he says, I think the benefit of this internal PlayStation lottery is the fact that there are countless people who buy and resell hype products with bots. Being able to pre-order through Sony's direct site via an email sent only to people who registered for it would help people who want one. Anyone who really wants one would register and use this lottery thing to have a higher chance to get one, versus battling online bots for pre-orders from all the big name retailers, which is something that happens, obviously.
And I absolutely agree with Desinoto with the sentiment of that, but this is the problem. We don't really know how many units Sony really has under control for this lottery system. It would be another thing altogether if Sony was controlling the entire supply, either regionally or globally, for all of their units through this system. That is a different thing altogether. But the fact of the matter is we know that other retailers will have units available for pre-order and will have units on hand day of launch. The number of units available, that's the thing that we will probably never know for sure. But the fact is, it isn't just this whole consolidated thing. And I would probably welcome Sony controlling their supply distribution from a consolidated place. And I think that would be a great way.
If it was the same way, though, I wouldn't like that. That would be anti-consumer, though. If
Sony controlled the distribution of their own product.
Yeah, if this was the only way to pre-order it, I wouldn't like that. I would think that's
I wouldn't. Well,
I think it's more along the lines of controlling how many units, for example, go to a company like GameStop versus going to a company like Amazon or Best Buy or something like that.
I agree with Giuseppe that it's scalping is an issue, but this will not solve it completely.
No, it's
other
not.
Retailers exist.
It's not going to solve it at all.
It'll solve it for some people, I'm sure. It'll minimize it for the hard. Because I remember I went to pre-order a PS4. I missed the first one because they were gone in less than 20 minutes or something like that.
Me too.
Yeah, but now there's a chance that we could be in it.
From Amazon and the rest of it.
Well, it's just
a chance.
And again, we don't know how good these chances are because we don't know the numbers. We don't know the rules, and that's why I would like to know if you're going to gamify the pre-order system. Well, let's find out what the numbers are. Well, what are the rules? I mean, like I'd like to know the rules before I play a game.
Another one of our viewers, Mian, has added to the chat as well. If someone wants a PS5, I think they will try and get one irrespective of exclusivity or not. I find it hard to believe that there will be consumers out there that refuse to get one because of the recent pre-order form.
No, I don't think that. Well, and that's the thing. This is just one aspect of the pre-order form. Like, the pre-orders are going to exist for other retailers in the same way they've always had in the past. This is just one small portion of it. And again, we would get a better idea as to how significant it is if we knew how many units were actually up to win this quote-unquote pre-order lottery. You know, how many people legitimately have a chance to be the first of the first to pre-order? It would be nice to know. Obviously, they know. At least if they don't know for sure.
So if they released a number, your issues would be solved. Like if they were like, "Hey, we have 50,000 units. There you go. Good
absolutely.
luck."
Yeah, I'd like to know the numbers. That way, we can actually see what the true value of this quote unquote chance is. You know, I would like to know. It would make all the sense in the world, and I'm pretty sure that Sony has a very good idea as to how many units they're really going to make available for this lottery system, you know? So I don't understand why they would hold that information back at any stage. I would think that would be something they'd want to release as soon as they put, word of it out.
One other thing that I'd like to mention, I just read the FAQ for the website. One of the things that they say is, if I receive an invitation, am I guaranteed to be able to pre-order a PS5 console?
No,
They
you're
say
not.
no. Each invitation is open for a limited time, and quantities are limited per PSN ID per transaction.
Right.
And each one of these invitations can get you a PlayStation 5 console or PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, two
of each
wireless
accessory. Two of each accessories. We don't need to go through them all.
Okay.
If you don't know what the accessories are, you're not participating in this lottery system.
Can I reserve more than one PlayStation 5 console pre-order? Due to limited quantities and high demand, we'll be limiting PS5 console pre-order reservations for one PSN ID.
Here's another question. What is to prevent somebody from making multiple PSN IDs and then making multiple...
It could go to the same address, so it might link to addresses too.
It does link to the addresses, because I know, like I mentioned before, the Canadian users cannot sign up for this, because as soon as they put their address in, it kicks them out.
So does that prevent them from using their multiple PSN IDs?
They have to be selected, though. What if all the PSN IDs don't get selected?
Well, I understand that, but now you're now adding the possibility of one person increasing their chance from 1 out of however many millions of PSN IDs
so
to
if we're going
6 to 10 to even more, based on how many they make up.
PlayStation interest, like they mentioned before, or what were the specifications, Adam? It was PSN interests and what else?
But we don't know what that is. That description is so generic. We don't know what that means. It could mean everything that Adam said previously.
Yeah, it
could mean anything. It could also mean nothing.
Could, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I have a rumor from me on here. Unsure if this was mentioned already, but I heard a rumor that the lottery is not necessarily a lottery. The reason you provided your PSN ID was to, 1, prevent bots, but also 2, to give priority based on seniority. So, for example, those that are historic PSN players will be the ones chosen for the lottery. New PSN IDs are not going to be selected for this lottery. Keep in mind, this is all a rumor, but it makes sense.
Well, if that's true, then it's not even a lottery anymore. The non-lottery lottery.
If that's the case, so let me give you a scenario. If that's the case,
man.
I would lose against you and Adam both. My PSN account has been around for total has been around for a longer time, but it's between 2 different PSN IDs because my original one got banned.
Then they should not. Okay, so again, why I'd really like to know.
I don't even know how old my ID is.
This game is.
You've had yours, I think, for a while, right?
I've made it
Giuseppe,
day one.
Yeah, day one PS3. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if I actually ever logged online for PS3 for a while.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I had no friends and no games to play online, so.
I think it goes by the day you created the ID, correct?
It's either 2006 or 2008 is how old mine is.
Right.
Or somewhere in between there. So.
It was first wave PS3, the fat edition, 60 gig.
My fat edition was bought at the Orchard Park, Big Red Machine. So.
There you go. But anyway, getting back to this pre-order lottery nonsense. If it's a loyalty program, make it a loyalty program. If it's a seniority program, call it what it is.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Don't call it. Tell us the details of this little marketing hype game, because honestly, it's what it sounds like and what it ultimately is. They don't seem to be coinciding here. And it just, I don't know. Honestly, it really sounds like a real half-boiled.
I think the PlayStation
concept.
activity thing, the requirement of that is going to deter the new IDs. That, let's say somebody wanted to make 5 PSN IDs and say, okay, I'm going to try and pre-order 5 of them. That's going to get deterred from that because they're going to see that the IDs were just made and there's no activity.
That's a good point too. If that's the case, then yeah.
That's the only reason I would imagine PlayStation activity, without them explaining it, would be mentioned. That would also deter brand new day one or 10-day-old or 1-month-old accounts that just got made and have no activity on them just get made to say, okay, I want to get into this so I have a better chance of getting a PlayStation 5, or have would make as to why that's a requirement then, so they can see, okay, yeah, this is not an actual account, this is just somebody made it so they can have more than one pre-order in.
I think it's just very messy.
I'm very curious to see
half-cooked, messy, and ill-conceived. And if it is that they're still like trying to think up what the actual details of this program is going to be, they need to hurry it up, because they probably should have put more thought into it and had all those decisions made prior to saying anything to anyone and sending emails to, prospective, participants.
I'm more curious to see what if there is any Xbox response to something like this. I'm sure.
I guarantee you they're not. I guarantee you they're not.
Well, there's no reason for them to do this.
There's no reason. No. I agree with Adam right there. Because honestly, I honestly don't see the benefit of doing this at all, even from Sony's thing. I think it's just a very minuscule kind of like, goodwill bump for what Adam terms as the hardest of the hardcore, which again are the same people that were ultimately interested in getting it anyway, and like Desunoto and others have said, they're going to find a way to get a PS5 as soon as they can, regardless of the situation, no matter what. So this is a whole bunch of mess for nothing. I'm just saying. Minimal gain, kind of a nonsensical PR marketing stunt on Sony's part.
I do not see it as that.
It's kind of dumb and lazy and irrelevant. Move on to the next thing. Just put the pre-orders out to all the retailers. Let the market decide. If you want to get in on it and you have enough cash to pay for your pre-orders.
September 9th is apparently the rumored date. September 9th.
Well, let's see.
Well, they said they would announce it before that, so if they announce it September 9th.
Did they say they were going to announce it before that?
They said they were going to, if they wanted us to, during that Jeff Keighley DualSense hands-on, he's like, release the pre-order date, and he's like, if we're going to put out the pre-order date, we're going to give you some time to prepare for it. We're not just going to say, hey, it's available now. So if it's September 9th, they have to say something soon about September 9th. Or on September 9th, they're going to tell us, this is when you can pre-order it, this is how much it's going to be. But isn't September 9th a Ubisoft event, too?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, is anyone going to be paying attention to that?
No, I thought that was September. No, I'm not watching that. I think it was September 10th, actually. Hang on. I will confirm that. It might be 10th.
Yeah, numbers, names, dates. Dates are numbers. Numbers and names, no good for me.
And they're all subject to change.
I can confirm that. You guys can continue while I confirm that real quick.
Right, I think Giuseppe, what's the next topic? Because I think we beat that one to death and no opinions changed.
Yeah, we beat it down into the ground.
September 10th, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
There you go, September 10th. Why is it always 3 p.m.? Ah!
I don't know, man.
I guess I'm watching
12 p.m. Pacific Standard, that's why.
Write him an angry email. Hey, guys, diversify your time.
Ubisoft will just take that email and toss it right where the other hate mail has gone for every other brand that they have.
If I feel like writing them an email, it's not going to be about that. Let me tell you that right now.
Okay, cool.
When is September 10th? Thursday.
All right, so we're moving on. Hey, so we're moving on.
Yeah.
Different subject matter. Shall we? Is this the time to mention our surprise topic now, Mr. Adam?
What is this?
Topic? You know what? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We can do the surprise topic. I think.
I don't even know what this is.
That's the point.
Okay. So we are going to be surprising. Do you want to lead us up to it?
I'll lead us up to it. So Giuseppe and I got into a conversation last night about many a thing, including the weird setup of my room, but unrelated to this. Good times. But we started talking about the Game Awards and Game of the Year, and I want to ask you, Genesis, when a game comes out, how long do we give them? Like, what's the latest they can release to be considered for a Game of the Year, specifically at the Game Awards that airs when? Like early December, you said, Giuseppe? I think it's
Right, yeah.
like December 9th.
9th, 10th,
I'm
around
gonna
there.
say December 1st is the cutoff date.
Interesting. Very interesting. So I thought I know Giuseppe was super correct on this. I was so wrong yesterday. I thought it was going to be like till what did I think? Like I think I thought the same thing, like
End
around
of the
there.
year.
Yeah, I don't understand. We'll get into it. But the Game Awards cutoff date is this year. It's been announced as November 15th. So any game that comes out after November 15th cannot be nominated for a Game of the Year. And if you're thinking what I think you're thinking, it's November 19th is when Cyberpunk comes out.
What the
So the reason Giuseppe explained this really well, and I'll let him go into detail, but let me just summarize it real quick. If a game came out November 19th and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks later the Game Awards happen, of course that game's going to win Game of the Year. You need time to think about it. And I dismissed that at first. And then I came around to it like, oh yeah, he's right. So then it turned into, should the Game Awards move? And Giuseppe has thoughts on that, and I will hand it over to Giuseppe to explain a little bit further.
Yeah, so the awards are called Game of the Year, not Game of the 2 weeks. Not Game of the Week, not Flavor of the Week, not what's trending at the right here and right now. And for the most part, I would say that the Game of the Year award winners have been, generally speaking, the correct ones to represent that award. You know, they demonstrated excellence in terms of, you know, what the product presentation was. They demonstrated, user fan bases that enjoyed and appreciated their software, and not just for a flash in the pan. They stuck with it. You know, the best games are the ones that, hold your attention for more than just a platinum, for more than just a multiplayer, more than just a campaign, or the equivalent of the different game modes that a game presents. And you need time. Time is the deciding factor, because it's so easy for anyone for the next shiny new thing to just sweep on in and just grab everyone's attention and just not relinquish it for such a short period of time, to go ahead and sweep. So easy for that to happen. And as it pertains to Cyberpunk, Cyberpunk was, and still is, a hugely anticipated title for me. I'm really excited by it. I love the level of detail that CD Projekt Red has seemed to be putting into this project. I love the fact that they've been working with Mike Pondsmith, the creator of the RPG tabletop Cyberpunk, making him intricately involved in the development of this virtual world of Cyberpunk 2077. Everybody loves Keanu Reeves. You're breathtaking. There's a lot of goodwill and good things that are happening for Cyberpunk prior to launch. But despite all my love for it, the fact that it has been kicked for its release date, how many times this year? 3 times this year.
Yeah, 3.
All the way till late November.
It'll be kicked to 4th.
Or whatever the situation ultimately where that lands. Uh-huh. I say, so be it. They don't qualify for Game of the Year this year, and good. And it's good and it's right that they get X'd out, because they only have themselves to blame. Whether it's legitimate development issues, whether it's true fine-tuning and they really want to make sure that the game is as best as it can possibly be to justify all of their kicks and delays, whatever, that's fine. Whatever the reason, it's irrelevant. They've disqualified themselves from Game of the Year, which honestly I feel like they were going to be the de facto winner this year had they come out with their original release date.
No.
That's
that.
That's an opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was a bigger game or a more anticipated game to roll into that category.
I agree with that statement. I don't know if there's a bigger game, but the thing is that I think if they had released it then, we might have had maybe a broken game at that
We
point.
don't know. Again, Genesis, you're presuming a whole lot there. We don't know what the reasons are. They can cite whatever they want in the playbook. I think the true reason for Cyberpunk's delays are beyond the technical. But regardless of that, that's not the point that I'm trying to make here. The point that I am trying to make here is that it's good that they are going to miss qualification for Game of the Year this year by a matter of days, by virtue of their own policy of having kicked the release multiple times for whatever the reason. And that's fine. There needs to be a cutoff date. We need to let the games that are really going to be evaluated for being the best at what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
We need to give them some time in the market. We need to give them some time in the gaming community and see where people really feel as individuals and then as a collective about certain games. And you need time to make that happen. So it's good.
So Genesis, what are your thoughts on this?
I understand the timing. I get that. You need time to be able to decide whether a game is even worth being considered for Game of the Year. I understand that. I feel like though November 15th is still a bit too soon of a cutoff date. December 1st sounds more reasonable to me, but I can understand how that would also be not reasonable because you don't have enough time to be able to decide whether the
Game Awards air on December 9th.
Typically around there. It's 8 days.
You're going to allow...
It's less than 2 weeks. So a little over a week.
You're going to allow a game to have a week, if not less, in the marketplace.
So just for reference's sake, I looked back at last year, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
In December, there was no real notable titles that came out that were not a re-release of certain games on different consoles, except for maybe Blair Witch.
It's not notable.
The fifth episode of Life is Strange 2.
I probably disqualified that from getting a GOTY nomination.
Really else. Trover, no, that was already released.
So just because no games have been released in December doesn't mean that December 1st should be a natural cutoff date.
Well, I'm talking about, so at the end of November, so in the second half of November of last year, you had Pokemon Sword and Shield, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Trover Saves the Universe actually came out on the VR system. You have a couple other Shenmue 3 also released during that time. And what else am I looking for here? A couple anime games, couple of Gundam games, Sniper Ghost Warrior contracts. So if I'm going to go with the original cutoff date, which is the 15th of that.
That's what it currently is.
Currently is, yeah.
For this year.
So if I'm going with the current cutoff date for last year's, are we saying the 15th is included, or if you're releasing the 15th doesn't count? Is that how it's done? So I can have understanding.
I would presume that if a game had come out prior to or on the 15th, then it would qualify. But any day after, it does not qualify.
Okay. All right.
That's as per the Game Awards rules for their cutoff rate.
Because the back half of November is still prime territory for a lot of bigger titles to release. December itself, not really. As I'm looking back at
quick correction. So 2019 was November 15th. This year, somebody asked Jeff Keighley, and he said we haven't set the dates for 2020 yet. So he could still move it for Cyberpunk to be qualified.
Oh. Well, that's a clarification I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, that's a clarification. I messed that up yesterday. I wasn't on a podcast, so I don't really care. We were just talking.
I see.
So it's interesting. Now I'm curious. You should not play it then, Giuseppe, until next year.
Well, I want to play it as soon as I can, and I'm not going to play it on the next. Other than I want to, and so reason goes out the window when I
Yeah, because it can't be your game of the year because November 15th
no
cutoff.
I do not and would not consider that a game of the year for 2020, regardless of its release date, because I'm not going to have enough time with it to really compare it to some of the other excellent games that have been released this year in a more timely fashion for people to play it through thoroughly and to really curate it. You know what I mean? Really give it a once over and appreciate it for what it does well, whatever the game may be. You know? So no, that doesn't change my opinion whatsoever. I do not believe that Cyberpunk is worthy of being considered for Game of the Year this year for it being released so late. I think
might.
For me personally, well, that's for the Game Awards and Jeff Keighley to decide and move the goalpost, which he probably will because he wants ratings for a show. And if Cyberpunk is not involved, that's a potential loss of interest and a big market that would tune in just for that. So he probably will. He probably will adjust the Game Award cutoff to accommodate Cyberpunk, which I don't personally agree with because I feel personally a game needs to be out for a solid month in the ecosystem to really be evaluated with some of the other releases of the year to give it a fair comparison and not just give it that inherent advantage of being the most recent big thing that people are into, talking about, and playing currently, which obviously didn't have earlier in the year when people were talking and playing about other games.
Yeah, if the Game Awards were 2 weeks ago, Fall Guys would have won probably.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Fall Guys would have won that game of the year, game of all time.
It probably would have won best tourney multiplayer or whatever category
that would have won. God, are you kidding me? That would have won.
Yeah, it would have won a whole bunch of selected categories for it. Sure, no problem. Yeah.
Only people who didn't vote for it, losers. You know what I'm talking about?
People who always lose in the first round.
This is the crown cast. We all have crowns.
That's funny. Yeah, that's a good one. We should definitely use that for a title for a future one. But yeah, there needs to be those cutoff dates for Game of the Year, and 2 to 3 weeks is, in my opinion, not enough time to compare it to other games that may or may not have been Game of the Year contenders. At the time, there might have been some kind of hype and anticipation for something like Ghost of Tsushima. You know what I mean? It looked really tantalizing when they initially teased it. And then when that game finally came out, my goodness, it's been so well received because guess what? It's a pretty darn good game. So something like that
that you know of.
That I know of.
Yeah.
I have not played it, but everything that I've seen and heard from you guys in particular have been nothing but praise for the game. And honestly, it's the kind of game that I would totally get and play and be a day one buy if I had the means. And I will get to it eventually because it seems like such a fun concept to me. And I definitely want to get into it.
But Cyberpunk is a day one buy for you, obviously.
Well, I still I have to stretch. I have to really, really stretch for that. And it's not it's also not a guarantee. Nothing if 2020 is
it's a guarantee.
If there's one theme,
Genesis and I will make sure it's a guarantee.
All right, well, let's either way, nothing's a guarantee in life and anyway, but yes, so I feel Game of the Year contenders, the true contenders for the current calendar year. So long as the Game Awards and Jeff Keighley want to continue doing it in this way, as opposed to the Oscars, they have their award season in February of 2021, for instance, would be evaluating the films that were released in 2020, of which there were, 5?
Bill and Ted's got a chance, guys. It's got a chance. So does Trolls World Tour.
I need to explain something real quick. I was just in my email where I get my PlayStation email.
Yes.
And one of the PlayStation emails started with "Fate has chosen you." And
I know.
My heart just drops for a second. I was like, wait
It's
a
not
second.
about.
And I look at
It's
him,
not
it's
about.
Vader
Yeah.
Immortal. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
God.
no, that was on the Reddit. That was on the PlayStation subreddit yesterday, where somebody was like, I got so excited. So.
Okay, God, I'm sorry. I had to just point that out. I found it so funny. I was like, what?
Yikes. Anyway, so yes. So it's interesting that you picked such a late date for a cutoff date, considering when the show airs. I mean, come on, bruh.
See, yeah,
I understand.
I originally pitched the Oscars thing of, hey, have it in February, but also the reason the Game Awards probably happens in early December is the holidays. Like it's a good promotional event. Like, hey, gotta get Jimmy a gift for Hanukkah? Go to Best Buy and pick this game up.
Jimmy Boy's a lucky boy if he's getting a PS5 for holiday.
Well,
Sure.
no, I just said a game. It's not advertising the consoles. I mean, they probably will be there. Don't get me wrong.
Probably.
Because it'll be like best console of 2020. Yeah,
last year at the Game Awards, they advertised the Xbox Series X by showing off the box for the very first time. And this year,
yeah,
go ahead.
No, they had like a 3-minute video.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
The box was not there. It was just a video of like, it's powerful, it's tall, it's a tower. It's actually not as much as a tower as you think, because the PS5 is somehow taller. I don't understand that.
The PS5 is gigantic compared to this one. Gigantic.
I saw a photo edit of Wally as an Xbox Series X in Eva or Evie. Yeah, with her as a PS5, and I was like, oh, this is adorable.
Well, they have real world measurements on the Series X because in Germany there is a Microsoft store that has a non-working model on display.
I mean, also a YouTuber. The YouTubers have broken it down because Microsoft gave them out.
Oh, yeah.
Break them down and stuff. Yeah, no, and they've also released specs and stuff, and you can tell by the disk drive and all that. So, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we've finished talking about that, did we? I thought we have, because I was just going to launch into what are your guys' Game of the Years currently. Not taking into account anything that
currently. Genesis, were you done? Did you have any more opinions on that?
No. I
mean, honestly, with that update to kind of ruin the whole discussion, I kind of wish I didn't look it up.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wait a minute here.
Kind of wish I looked it up before we did all this, but you know,
no, we're good. We're fine. This is why you have discussions. This is fine.
GOTY.
No problem. So far, Game of the Year so far. Well, I have not beaten Ghost. I have not beaten Ghost yet. I think I'm going to keep my answer as Game of the Year right now as Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2 for right now for Game of the Year at this point in time. That particular game left a mark, left an impression on me. It basically just made me never want to put that disc back in, even though I will eventually. I don't want to put the disc back in because the story just sat with me, and I don't know if I can emotionally take that all again. But it's left a very, very lasting impression on me where against all the other games this year, none of the games have made me feel quite like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think it deserves a Game of the Year spot, in my opinion.
It'll definitely have a spot, but that is your winner as of right now, is what you're saying.
For 2020, yes, for 2020.
Well, we're not talking about last year, and we're not talking about this year, next year. We're talking about. For right now. Before I finish Ghost, and I have my final thoughts on Ghost, but yeah, for right now, this is this year's Game of the Year. Adam,
I'll let you go first.
I'm still looking up all the other games that have come out. Again, I haven't played a ton So my opinion is going to be very limited in terms of what I would choose. So if you have some thoughts, go ahead
Oh,
and jump
I
right
have some
into it.
thoughts.
Go for it. Do your thing.
So mine is down to three games. I've already made my opinion. Like I've already made my choice game of the year. It was at first Dreams because that's the one that came up first. And that's one that I keep going back to. Still find it a lot of fun. I'm at the point where if I never reach the platinum, I'll be upset, but I won't be as upset. Um, and that's a big factor for me. But that game it's a gift that keeps on giving. I swear, if it's not on PS5 for everybody, I'm gonna be upset by that. Because
I'm
that's
sure.
really something everybody should play. Genesis. One day you will start it up.
I will put it in one day. I will
I
put
know.
that
One
in the
day.
console
That's
one
what I
day.
said. Last of Us 2 is real good. Story wise, real good. Sad. It sits with you. It takes a seat and it sits right on your chest. Some people like that. Some people don't.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
criticisms. I'm not in that boat with those people, but I get it. But at the same time, like gameplay's fantastic. It's beautiful. Yeah, really like it. Ghost of Tsushima. Really like that game. Within 20 minutes of playing Ghost of Tsushima, I was like, wow, this game's amazing. And after sitting on it for a long time and thinking about all three of these games, my game of the year is undecided. I just told you that I decided, but I have no idea because I like Dreams so much that I think that one
Is
keeps
it?
jumping on it. But also in my top 10 PlayStation 4 games that we did, that was number 7, Dreams.
Does Dreams
Mm-hmm.
have a stacking demo in it?
No, it does not. Actually, I've
Oh
never
well,
looked, but
that would
I'm
have
pretty
been
sure it
that would have
doesn't.
been the deciding factor for you.
That definitely would have been the deciding factor.
That would have been it.
And then the issue with Last of Us 2 is I really like that game a lot, and I'm 95% sure I like it more than Last of Us 1 for a number of different reasons. But I don't know. Like my opinion keeps changing. Like what for my game of the year, and I'm so glad I don't have to decide for another like 4 months or 3 months, however time works. I don't. I It keeps going back and forth because Ghost of Tsushima is so good, and that story is so. That story reminds me more of Last of Us One than Last of Us Two does because I remember being excited for Last of Us. I remember playing Last of Us. I remember being like, wow, the story's kind of generic, but every single time an emotional event happens, I'm feeling it. Every single time something cool happens, I think it's cool. Every single time something sad happens, I think it's sad. And every single time I'm just exploring the world, I'm having a great time. That's Last of Us 1, and that's Ghost of Tsushima. Last of Us 2, I like it in a lot of ways that you describe Genesis. It it's completely different from Last of Us 1. I could have like a 19-hour discussion on Last of Us 2, especially with Giuseppe on it.
19 hours.
That would eventually degenerate into some kind of shouting match of
It would
some
not.
variety.
Never. We never yell at each other. Our
That's
No,
true.
we
voices
don't.
get a
Never
little
yell
bit
at each other.
louder, but
That's
also
true.
I'm starting to join the. I'm kind of disliking Neil Druckmann because that dude is crushing it in Fall Guys right now. He's got the infallible trophy. I just want you guys to know that, and I hate him. So, Giuseppe, you say you
The
don't hate him? I hate him. I am now the Neil Druckmann hater because I am jealous of his skills at Fall Guys.
Fall
That son of
Guys,
a
right?
bitch. That's
Well, hey, you know what?
also his
He-
writing
he-
and stuff.
I'm glad that he's found a nice venue to
There it is. There's a
demonstrate to
joke.
the world how awesome he is. And
Yeah.
Fall Guys is his platform.
Okay, well, there's other things. But yeah, no, my game of the year, I have no idea. I want to pick all three of those for different reasons. If you ask me tomorrow, I'll probably have a choice. If you asked me yesterday, I probably had a choice, but today I have no idea. So
Again, if stacking wasn't Dreams, then I think you'd be Dreams.
I'm telling you, everyone should have dreams. It's
Game of the
free
year.
on the PlayStation Plus, or it's free on the store right now for like a 2-week trial or whatever it is, or a week trial. Doesn't matter. Download it, play it. If you don't like it, you're good. If you like it,
Free marketing, PlayStation.
it's
Free
like
marketing.
$30 at this point, and it goes on sale all the time. It's so cheap, and if you're like, oh, I want to play indie games, but I don't have $10 to spend every like 3 weeks when I see an interesting indie game, start up Dreams. You can try any genre of video game and be like, I never thought I would like a Geometry Wars type of game. And then I've been playing one on Dreams. And I'm thinking about getting Geometry Wars now. I really think that if Sony wanted to do something with Dreams, they could pay people to make games that are similar to real games coming out, and it'll just be an advertisement for it. Like, hey,
Sure.
you wanna, hey, there's like an indie game coming out called Fall Guys. Make something about it. It's not going to be on Plus in an alternate universe. And a couple people have made Fall Guys things, and they got a bit of jank because they're not tight. they're not medium molecule picks. But at the same time, it's like you understand how Fall Guys works now. It has a jump, a dive, a grab, and it has a couple of the same missions or the same episodes. So it's like if you didn't want Fall Guys, and you're like, well, I got Dreams. Let me check it out in here. You're like, okay, I kind of get it. It's a little bit floatier, but you're like, I understand what this is now. And you can you can totally make up your mind. So it's like, how do I not pick Dreams? Because it's every game. So that's why I keep going back and forth. But
Legitimate
Giuseppe,
point.
I've gone too long.
Dreams could very well be in like that final grouping. And I know for a fact that Last of Us 2 will definitely be amongst the final 5 or however many they select for it. But for me, from the games that I've played this year, Game of the Year is FF7 Remake. And for a number of reasons. First of all, it's a gorgeous looking game. I can very easily say that it is the prettiest game out of everything that we've talked about so far, even between Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. It's a gorgeous looking game. The graphic fidelity on that definitely, in my opinion, is superior to everything that we've discussed so far. The way that they were able to transition a JRPG into an active combat system that mimics Kingdom Hearts, but obviously not the same. At first, I was very apprehensive about that because I'm a huge fan of the original FF7 on PS1. That was a seminal RPG, epic story, great character development, characterization. Didn't think that we were going to receive an exact one-to-one remake with the FF7 remake. And they definitely did different things with that game. They starkly different. So I was a little resistant to that transition in terms of the gameplay. I was also very resistant to the concept of them releasing that game in installments. I don't like the idea of having a purposely incomplete experience in a game where they're going to literally release the game and you'll have to pay multiple full price installments eventually in order to get the whole story, quote unquote. And yeah, Square Enix did say that, they will be different games and we're going to justify our pricing and what have you, whatever. I was resistant to that as well. I was also resistant to the whole excessive bloat that was reported, like suggested. It's like, hey, how are they going to justify like a full gameplay's worth of time with this game when you're only going to be exploring what basically amounted to only a portion of disc 1 from the original game in terms of like the narrative, where you actually end up as a party in the overall story. That was also concerning to me as well. That being said, I enjoyed all my time with it. Even the most challenging, frustrating parts when you play it on hard mode and you're playing some of the those really, really difficult battle simulator in the sphere, in the final game arena those can be very, very challenging. And it's more than just a matter of grinding up your party with the materia and having max levels, because that kind of like takes away the challenge from the JRPG. But when you still have to have actual dexterity on the sticks to still execute, even with high level characters, you can still get dominated by the competition that they have in that game. And yeah, I learned to appreciate it a lot. And while I still didn't like some of the bloat that was in FF7 Remake, it did present some interesting story elements to formally less important, less significant characters, which, kind of like gave you a little bit more insight into this type of world of FF7, the mythos of that realm. And what it seems like they're doing with the story, it could be very, very ambitious, ultimately, where it goes, or it could be the most frustrating thing that will split the fan base in a fashion not dissimilar to what The Last of Us 2 resulted in. But that remains to be seen. We'll see where it goes. But the potential for FF7 Remake and this year, and FF7 Remake Part 2, whenever that comes out, the sky's the limit. I really enjoyed my time with it, and it was a really, really good game. And nothing else I played this year really compares. I played Last of Us 2. I'm just going to say this. I did not have Adam's and Genesis's reaction to that game. And that's it. That's all I will say about
Good.
it. Good. We can say that. You know what we can do? We can save that for the post Game Awards podcast.
No.
When Last of Us 2 doesn't win.
Should we? I think we should do a live reaction to the Game Awards of Crafting.
As long as they don't do it Thursday at 2 p.m. or some dumb crap. I mean, I know they tend to. I know they do. That was just a joke.
Have it in the evening.
No, I know. That was a joke. Thank you. Yeah, no. The only reason I say good is because this is like a positive segment. So like I there's a reason why Last of Us 2 is not my shining example of a game of the year. I mean, I'm glad it works for Genesis, but I have reasons and stuff, and maybe one day we will address those, but not now.
Not now.
Also, could win Game of the Year. It did come out already, so certainly possible. FF7.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that could win Game of the Year.
Sure can. It was a hugely anticipated title. It's definitely deserving to be up there.
I think it could. I enjoyed FF7 very much because I've also never played the original FF7. So
yeah, no, I know that, but like, I don't. It'll be one of the ones. We'll see.
Well, can you name 4 other games that are worthy, that would potentially take its spot?
Cyberpunk. Assassin's Creed is typically nominated. I'm saying what's typically nominated. I'm just throwing that out there.
It won't be this year. It won't be. I think this is the thing. I think Jeff Keighley's a smart enough marketer.
Koshima's gonna be.
He knows when and where to draw attention to certain things, and I don't think this is the year for Ubisoft.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, this is not the year for Ubisoft.
Nope.
Never's been the year.
Animal Crossing? No, that's not. No.
Crashing into a wall.
What do you mean no for Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing is not going to be considered for Game of the Year.
I don't understand that.
I would say it would be. It was a very, very highly anticipated and highly well-reviewed game.
Yeah, it's well-reviewed. People still love it and play it.
That's why a lot of Switches sold like nuts.
Yeah.
Especially during the pandemic, too. That came at like almost coincidentally like perfect timing. Pandemic happened.
All right, we'll
let's all
see.
play Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
we'll see.
So there's 4. I think I named 4. Or did I name 3? I'm gonna name 3.
You need one more. You need 3.
I mean, Last of Us 2 is gonna be in there. That's gonna be in there. That's a no-brainer. It's gonna be in there. Will it win? I don't know.
So despite all of that, everything that you just mentioned, like all those other titles, like FF7 Remake has everything that you mentioned good about all those titles, plus the gorgeous look of it. It has all that. So just by virtue of that, it'll be there. And not only that, but it does have the immensity of the hype and the anticipation.
There's always one snub,
in a way that
though.
was not. Yeah, FF7 is not going to be snubbed, man. If it is, then I'll have plenty to say about that, because there's no way that game should be ignored.
No.
Just because it's a quote unquote remake, but it's
a remake. Yeah, I'm dismissing that because it's a remake, but it has a lot of new elements and stuff. So I would imagine it would still be considered for that.
It's totally different. The only similarities is that it involves the characters and the world. Everything else it's a completely different story.
Yeah, no, I know. That's why I didn't even bring up remake.
Yeah, but it should definitely. It very easily stands toe to toe with any of those games that you just mentioned, and in many instances stands above them. So yeah, it'll be there. I'll be very surprised.
I think it'll be there as well. I think it'll be there. I expect Ghost of Tsushima to be there. I expect Animal Crossing to be there. I expect Last of Us to be there. Cyberpunk's going to be there. If the cutoff date gets put all the way back there, but yes.
I expect Ghost of Tsushima to actually be the winner of Game of the Awards 2020.
I agree with that.
My call.
Yeah,
I
wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. I would be like, wow, that deserved it.
And this is the main reason why. Ghost of Tsushima is going to win because it's going to be the least offensive winner. Because Last of Us 2 wins, and there's going to be a vitriolic reaction to it. Cyberpunk wins, people are going to be like, wait a minute, that game just fucking came out. That's kind of bullshit. All these other games.
Swearing.
All this stuff. And we have done that before. That was a slip of the tongue.
We got to start the podcast over. He swore. We got to do it all over again.
Time to restart, guys. Sorry about
that.
that.
Son of a fucking bitch. You fucking ruined it. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine. We're good.
Was that our capacity for PG-13? Anyway.
I think that was.
I think you only get one of those for PG-13, right?
Yeah.
Twitch is fine. Twitch doesn't. They don't care. But it's more
Twitch. As long as you don't show a nipple, you're good.
But Ghost of Tsushima is it's kind of like one of those diaper darlings kind of game releases. People were impressed with it when it was teased, and then when it came out, it totally met expectations, and it satisfied a lot of people. And it's a beautiful looking game.
Yeah.
I think just by virtue of that, it's going to be the actual winner for Game of the Year this year.
We shall see.
We shall.
It'll be the least.
I'd be happy with that.
Least offensive and least controversial.
I'll put it this way: if FF7 or Last of Us or Ghost won, I'd be happy. If Cyberpunk wins, no.
It doesn't matter to me. Honestly, I will not feel joy. I mean, unless Genesis really thinks one game's going to win and then it loses, then I will be happy.
Let's not go down that road again, okay? Let's
you know, I was thinking like, did that game come out this year? And then I was like, oh no, it didn't.
Last year.
That whole thing was last year's.
Yep. Good time, fun games. That was a sport for me. That was great.
Man.
So Genesis, when you pick a game, it's not going to win. So Last of Us 2, not GOTY. Sorry.
Well, you know.
Also, you also picked Ghost in FF7, so that's not Cyberpunk. It is. That sucks.
I swear to God, if Cyberpunk wins, I'm going to go to Jeff Keighley's house and burn his house down.
Okay, we are on the internet.
That's a bit much.
In a video game.
Okay, Jeff Keighley, for real, we appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you come off a little strong. I got to be honest with you. And I understand that you got to sell out a bit. You always got to sell out. But, dude, calm down. Calm down. Also, open your eyes.
What's his nickname again? The Dorito Pope?
You look like you're sleeping all the time. What are you doing, Jeff? Yeah, Dorito Pope. Yeah, because he was by, like, Doritos and stuff. Also, did you guys see the Monster Energy Halo thing?
You see the Nerf gun Halo thing?
Yeah.
No.
So every company that was teaming up with Halo, they're still doing their sponsorship stuff. And then I would assume that the Nerf stuff still has Halo Infinite on. So.
Whoops. Sorry, guys. The main product tie-in to these peripherals not happening. But hey, you'll still have your Nerf gun.
You just call them peripherals?
Yes. These products are peripherals to the main product tie-in.
You'll have your game in 2022. 2022.
Whatever.
Wait for it.
Or-
Halo Infinite.
Xbox. Wait for it.
That's a good catchphrase, actually. That should be the
Xbox,
catchphrase.
wait for it. Hold on, we have to go through the beginning part of the alphabet. Give us a minute.
Right.
Oh, God.
That's funny.
All right. Do you have a rumor, Genesis?
Rumor of the week. Let's see here. Give me a minute here. I'll get you a rumor of the week.
Wow, you've had an hour and 45 minutes to prepare for this, but...
Listen, I have a couple of them. That's why.
If they're quick ones, shoot them off.
Yeah.
Oh, no. They're not quick. No.
They're probably all going to be quick because you're probably like, this game's coming out, and it's going to be free, and it's coming out in 2 days. Half the rumors you say, like, they're clearly false after, like, the third word of the sentence.
Half the rumor? No. Hold on. So one of the rumors actually I mentioned before is the whole releasing PS5 outside of the U.S. and Canada being.
We've already addressed that
later in the year. Yeah. That was one of the rumors. The only other rumor that I have is the same September 9th rumor about the next event or the quote unquote pre-order. Announcement with the price for
So you said,
PlayStation.
hang on, I have a few rumors. And then you only came back with 2 rumors that we've already addressed.
Okay, all right.
So a few is 3 or more, first of all. Let's clear that
A
out
couple.
of the way.
A couple.
Thank you.
Couple.
Thank you. So you have no further rumors for us.
No additional rumors.
Just make up one, and then we'll clip it out, post it on Reddit, and see what happens.
Right.
I don't know if that works that
I
way.
got one. So I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in Florida, and he works at a game studio. Real friend, actually, I have on PlayStation Network. I've known him since Battlefield 1943 days. And he said he's working on a game, and it's coming out, and it's going to be pretty big. That's the rumor. That's it. That's literally all the rumors that come out. I know a guy in the game industry, and there's a guy, and he's working on a game, and it's probably for the PS6. Ooh,
Wow,
take that to the bank.
Crazy. That's crazy.
By the way, guys, I'm hearing that the PS5 games are on Blu-ray discs. Uh-oh. Even for the digital edition.
Hot take.
I will have I actually do have a comment on that one. A couple of people I've seen on Reddit have posted pictures of the gaming. Remember how they showed the cases are going to be
white?
Black?
Yeah, white.
White with the black background.
Uh-huh.
Some people are posting that they're seeing some of these box arts as blue again, and they're making a change from white and black to white and blue.
So PS4?
No, so PS4 are I believe those are blue.
Blue with white words and symbol.
Yeah, so the case would be the white case and blue background.
Oh, that's weird. Because I thought they were doing the black and the white for the PlayStation Studios logo that they were doing too.
Yeah.
Or I wonder if that's just going to be for exclusives. The white and black, and then multi-plats can be the blue and white.
Because honestly, I've not seen any multi-plat games have the black and the white.
Well, what did that ugly ass FIFA cover? What did that have?
Was that blue and white?
I thought it was black and white.
I will look for you, sir.
It's been a hot minute since I.
Apparently, the game, all the sports games are not doing very well.
Well, they can't take photos of athletes currently, so they're just kind of like clipping clip art and shoving it on their case. And they're like, "Is this good?" And people are like, "No," and they're like, "This is good."
Well, that's what they get for single A development. Ha 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 ha.
Adam? Single Adam? What?
No, remember, this is going back to our discussion about quadruple A, triple A, double A, single A.
I do not recall this at all. I gotta be honest with you.
I have one other rumor.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, It's been a week, man. It's been a week.
Hey, everyone's allowed their senior moments. It's all good.
What's your?
What's the rumor?
Saying? Yeah, what are you doing?
Faceplates are changeable on the PlayStation 5.
It's been a rumor. We've already done that one.
Did we?
Yeah.
When?
Oh, a long time ago.
This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
What?
Apparently.
When we were talking about
Giuseppe is the first time he's heard about it.
When we were talking about PS5, you said that the consoles can be changed. Then we started talking about the gold PlayStation 5, and we've talked.
I think that was a whole over like an actual change, because I remember we were talking about the black PlayStation 5 image that had leaked out that was confirmed fake, and then the thoughts of like what it would look like otherwise, but I don't think I ever brought up the faceplates, because we've seen actual pictures of the faceplates looking like they were removable off the console, which would make the PS5 look very weird if you just had the black part in the middle and no white faceplates in the side. That'd look weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, well, it's a thing.
Yeah. It's a bad rumor. You should feel bad about that.
You know what?
You have 1 week to prepare.
I'll report one more. I got one more.
It better be a good one.
Xbox could possibly be leading on the Tokyo Game Show with another Xbox showcase, which is also going to be a virtual show again. Tokyo Game Show will be a virtual one. What is the date for Tokyo Game Show this year?
Soonish?
It's usually September, but I don't know what
they're
what
leading. What do you mean by leading?
Meaning they will have an Xbox showcase because remember, this generation they are definitely trying to make a dent on the Japanese Japanese base that they have, because they don't have very much of a presence in Japan. And there's a rumor going around that they are going to be having another showcase on that particular day, which falls in line with another rumor of them delaying the next showcase that they were supposed to have after the initial one with Halo. But because of the Halo delay, they had to push it back so they could fill the spot that Halo would have filled originally.
They've already announced what they're doing at Tokyo Game Show.
What are they doing then?
I don't know if you've looked in the group text chat. Yeah, it's already there. They said no new next-gen news, celebrating Japanese games creators and games. And then updates coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator for PC, Japanese Minecraft community creativity, showcase broadcast in Japanese only. No new next-gen news.
Well, to be fair,
the official Xbox account retweeting Xbox Japan. So that's that was not a good one. That was literally disproved before you even started talking about it by someone with familial relations to you.
I did not see that, because normally when we're streaming, I don't look at the phone.
Interesting. Interesting.
I will say this. You know what definitely would help, or would have helped Microsoft, kind of like try to get a dent into that Japanese market? Yeah, Halo. Halo probably would have helped, but now it's not. So there you go.
Has Halo been a big seller in Japan before?
I'm not saying that it is, but I'm just saying a big title like that, it would not have hurt.
It's not. I'll give you this.
It would have helped. It would have helped.
Just looking at last year's sales for Japan, the top 10 best-selling games in Japan were Pokemon, Smash Bros, Kingdom Hearts 3, Super Mario Maker, Monster Hunter, Super Mario Bros, Monster Hunter, Mario Kart 8, Minecraft, and Luigi's Mansion 3. So unless you're Mario, or you're Pokemon, or you're Capcom, or you're Square Enix, you're not getting into Japan.
Animal Crossing's crushing right there, right now.
I can look that up for this year, yes.
No, I already know it is.
Oh, you're...
I don't know how much it's due. I know it's crushing. It is crushing. I mean, Switch is crushing in Japan right now.
Correct.
Especially.
Correct. Yeah, you are correct on that.
Yeah. It looks like Halo 3 was big in Japan, and it looks like Halo 5 Guardians was the worst-selling mainline Halo game in Japan. But also,
wasn't it also everywhere?
Yeah, that was not a well-received game. So that's I don't know how I don't even know if the Master Chief Collection came out there. games release is all messed up and weird. So, but yeah, I guess Halo is kind of big in Japan. I don't know if it's still big in Japan,
Halo would
but
have helped. I'm just saying, like
yeah,
you,
I mean, I don't
whether
think
you
it came
have
out and they're like, well, we hate this. I don't think it would have hurt, but I don't know how
no,
much it would have helped because
well,
Xboxes don't do great in Japan, but they do have a
they don't.
Yakuza coming to an Xbox now. So
They do. That they do. They have Dragon Quest coming to Xbox as well now.
oh, also,
Dragon
I
Quest
forgot
is
to
a big
mention
one.
this when we were talking about like the pre-order and price. I saw something where it said the Switch, the price wasn't released until 50 days before the console launched, and I was like,
Is that really true?
yeah, yeah, it is, 50 days.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I mean, before all this pandemic crap, I don't think this is what they planned. I'm sure Nintendo planned the 50-day thing, but like
Okay,
that's I don't know. It's crazy that other
fair
games have.
enough.
You guys, we never talked about the PC PlayStation.
The PC PlayStation. Oh well, go ahead. Let's talk about it.
I don't really have anything new to say on it.
Okay,
I mean,
there we go. All
I
right.
mean, I would respond to what you guys say, but
I think it's terrible.
okay. See, there you go.
I've always thought it's terrible, just because if it's a Sony exclusive, just keep it on Sony. Just I don't know. I understand exposure, more exposure for the games is better. That means we'll get. You have a better possibility of getting more iterations, sequels, things like that, because more people have bought into the game. Yet I understand all
Well,
that.
I will say I will say this though. If this is like really the thing, and Sony's exclusives will all eventually be
No.
transitioned to PC. Well, I'm just saying, if it is a sampling of what possibly could happen, then you're going to have a huge, massive resurgence in popularity for Bloodborne because there's so many people that have wanted to see that game come on
Every
PC.
single time we do a stream.
But
Every
I'm just
Oh,
saying,
for
He's got to
Bloodborne.
mention. Oh yeah, he's got to
Well,
mention Bloodborne.
he
I'm just
likes it.
saying.
I know he does.
But
I'm
this
just
is the thing.
saying.
Every time we stream, you
But
mention phones.
well, I
Did I
would
mention
not.
the phone this time? Not until
Yeah.
you just said. Oh yeah, I should.
Samsung.
wait a minute.
Yeah, come
Now wait a
on, come
minute.
on now. He
Now
can mention
wait.
Bloodborne. By the
Now
way,
wait a
Sony, if you're
minute.
watching, Bloodborne script, it's real good. Other people have read
Now
it
wait
now,
a minute.
so
Sony,
heads up.
this guy, you better hire him.
Okay, so I would not have brought it up had this topic not been reiterated by Adam, but I'm just saying for a fact.
But you guys wanted to talk
Lots
about
of
this. That's why I brought
So
it up.
Adam is the catalyst for you mentioning Bloodborne every time, is what
Also,
you're saying?
it's
No,
okay.
no, I'm
No,
just
he
for
can talk
this
about
time.
Bloodborne every
For
single
this
time he
time.
wants. He can do it anytime.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to talk about the game other than the fact that if that came to PC, the ability to get in there and kind of like crack it open and get to start modding it and kind of like opening up some of the areas that were locked down on on older builds that other people have been able to kind of like data mine to open up and see, oh, what does it look like when you see at different levels of the city or different kinds of areas that are normally not accessible from the game regularly. It's going to create a whole new thing, cracking that game
Yeah.
open and trying to because people have been trying and have been yearning for that.
Yeah,
for
that's
years.
been rumored for
So,
PC a few times the last couple of years, especially.
Uh-huh.
So.
And that's
Yeah.
it. That's all I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to talk about anything else.
Talk about as much as you want, man. It's
No, that's
it's-
fine.
Oh, I
fine.
was just
That's
playing.
fine.
Yeah, no. I always appreciate when
Okay,
you talk about that.
I do have something to say now. Let's talk about Bloodborne. All right, guys. Let's
Oh,
now
shit.
jump into a full conversation about Bloodborne. There's some blood. Somebody's born. That's all I know. Some software sent me it. It was from them. I don't know who they are, but whatever. No.
Some blood. Someone's born.
There's that tagline you needed for your script.
There's some blood.
Wow, that really tickled you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to contain my laughter because
No,
my
it's
wife is sick.
Okay, I get why Genesis is like, I don't like it, but the people, they're not bringing every game. They've already announced we're not bringing every game. We're not doing day and date. It's going to be delays by some years. It's just, to get sequels made and like to sell more of the game. Like I see this nothing but a good thing. If this changes anymore, I might switch and go, ooh, I don't like this. But at the same time, like, if you wanted to play Horizon, you on a PlayStation, you bought a PlayStation, you play Horizon at this point. If not, then if you're on PC and you want it's on PC now. It's kind of broken and they're updating it. Sorry about that, guys. But it's like
and this is
just selling more. Like it's a good thing for us.
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning more towards Adam's position. Yes, more exposure for the PlayStation brand. Their exclusive titles, expanding the market on that is not it's not inherently a bad thing. But I will say this: if Sony's mindset, if this thought is on the board of directors' mind in regards to the future of console gaming, if you believe that there is a time limit on the relevancy of consoles in the market for the distant future, if you're of the mindset that, hey, look, consoles are eventually going to just play out, there isn't going to be a market for it, the market will transition to a purely digital distribution in some way, shape, or form, and the need for hardware on hand won't be as prevalent, and therefore, staking your brand and linking that to an actual hardware platform is just not going to be the game anymore, then it makes all the sense in the world to begin to kind of like test the waters to see what that means for your software brands, because Sony is still a viable player in the game industry by virtue of their software development network.
Yeah, and they've reiterated that they're hardware focused. Like in that report, they've talked about this. Like they've been releasing games on PC. They're just getting bigger games to now go on PC.
Right.
Like with the what are they called? Who's that snobby dude? The French guy in his games? I can't think of that studio.
Ubisoft?
No. What? No. No. Quantic Dream. Those games came to PC. Death Stranding's now come to PC. Horizon's come to PC. There were a couple other games, like some years ago, that were like tinier games that were Sony published and they came to PC. I know, but like...
Yakuza?
That's not Sony published, though.
No, they were just PlayStation exclusive for a very long time, and they finally came to PC. Persona 4.
And now Yakuza is on Xbox, yeah. Yeah, but
Next thing you'll know, Last of Us will come to Xbox, and it'll come to PC.
That is not one of the ones they'll probably do, because Horizon, I understand why they would do that. That makes sense. Last of Us, I don't know about that. Maybe Dreams PC, one of these days. A lot more people play Dreams.
I feel like Dreams, that would be good for Dreams.
It would be good for Dreams. Now, quick question I thought about while we were talking about this. Would it be easier to bring the PS4 version of Horizon to the PS5 or the PC version of Horizon to PS5, you think?
I think the PS4 version of PS5.
Okay, all right.
I mean, that seems to be the right answer.
I would think that too, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm going to think about that. Maybe I'll answer that next week.
Sure.
Do you have a phrase of the week or like a...
Sure. My phrase of the week is check your backlogs.
Check your backlogs.
Check your backlogs, everyone, because and don't take it just strictly from me from playing MGS5, but I still look at my basket of games for PS4.
Dude, put them on a shelf. Get them out of a basket. That's weird.
Well, I don't have enough storage capacity for shelving for that, so they're in a basket. I mean, they're accessible. It's not a problem. Either way.
I made a joke. I didn't think you really had a basket. I thought that was just
a
term. Wow.
No.
Okay.
No. I literally it's a woven basket. That's where my games are. Seriously.
A nice woven basket. I'm a sucker for a nice woven basket.
Well, it's a decorative woven basket because again, my wife has it's her decor concept, and I'm quite inviting to her concept designs. I have no eye for that, so I leave the aesthetics for her, and she's a good taste in that regard.
The Easter hay in it.
No, there's no hay. It's just the woven basket.
Because if it had hay, you could sit on it. Maybe another PS4 game will spawn. Is that how that works?
In another reality.
I would love for another reality.
Well, he just dropped out there. There
right,
goes
well.
Genesis. Well, hey, and now it's become the Adam Giuseppe family. All right.
No! How did I drop out? What in the
You are not.
How did you
in
not
Minecraft,
notice?
so
Where'd you go?
I was looking here at my phone over here just while you were talking.
Oh, I never look at my phone. Look at this guy. Well, I would say that's a good thing to wrap it up. Giuseppe, you want to take us home?
Yeah.
Sure. Everyone, check your backlogs. Be nice and courteous to your neighbors. Try to lend a helping hand if you can. Don't be a jerk. It would be nice. Try to make a positive impact in the world. And if not, then don't do anything.
If not, at least make an impact, you know? Whether it be a supervillain way or...
No, because then people want to go and make a negative impact.
No. That's fair,
Better to do nothing.
Don't do that.
Better to do nothing than make a negative impact.
Yeah, better to do nothing. Keep your mouth
shut.
If you don't got something nice to say, don't say it at all.
Do nothing and check those backlogs.
Check the
backlogs. Because guess what? I guarantee you guys have a backlog. There's a game that's been collecting some dust.
One of these
you want to finish up, get that platinum.
Guys, I can't.
Wrap it up.
I can't.
Everybody wave bye.
All right, everyone.
No, hold on.
Oh, yeah.